Hello, everyone out there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, the title of the message that God gave me is Learning How to Stand While Under Pressure. And we, as human beings, as long as we live on this earth, are going to have to go through times where we are under pressure. It's just something that cannot be avoided. But when it comes to the people of God, God's ultimate desire for his people is to become a strong and mature Christian. That means having the ability to withstand all the pressures that come to us in this life. And the word withstand means to not be overtaken by the pressure. It means to remain undamaged from the things that come to us. Because a lot of people, they crumble under pressure and they just fall apart when pressure comes in their life. But God has given us the ability to withstand. That means also to resist, to stand against. Because of the Spirit of God that lives inside of us, we are able to overcome everything, every obstacle that comes our way. And see, one thing that some people might be surprised by is that God uses pressure as a tool to develop us. Pressure is what brings out in us that cannot come out any other way except pressure be applied to our lives in certain areas. And for everyone, it is different. And see, most of us don't want to go through pressure, but we want to be blessed by God. We want to be used by God. But God uses pressure. And see, the reason why people don't want to be under pressure, because pressure makes you very uncomfortable. And pressure, it can be very, very painful. But see, God does not let us experience pain or pressure for no reason. God has a good reason for what he has a very good reason for why he lets us experience pressure. And see, it's very hard for people, especially when they have never had to experience pressure at all. It means it's very, very difficult for a person. But see, once you experience pressure, people have been through certain things, they are able to take a lot more than a person that has not been through anything. But see, we all know, I'm going to say that sometimes we don't know that we can take a lot more than what we think we can take. God knows exactly how much we can take. He can put enough pressure on you, and it might feel like you're about to break, but God knows that you can take it. I can think about myself, I'll just say, when I was younger at childbearing age, and I would hear stories about people talking about how painful childbirth was, and all the things they had to go through to have their children. And I would hear these stories, and it put fear in me. Listening to other people, a lot of times they will make things seem worse than what they are. But when my time came and I had to go through labor, because my first child, I was in labor for 18 hours with her. And I was able to endure labor without an epidural. Because see, now, most people that have children now have an epidural, but I did not have an epidural. And so that means I had to experience that whole labor and I had to feel all the pain that came with it. See, because the epidural, it numbs you to where you do not feel the pain. And I was able to go through it because I was afraid of them sticking a needle in my back. I just could not see them sticking something in my back. And also, while I was going through the labor, I was thinking about the fact that after I go through this pain, I was going to have my baby. So I was able to endure that pain. And like I said, I did not think that I could take that much pain, but I was able to endure it because I knew in the end it was going to be worth it. So I had all three of my children without an epidural. So I found out that I was able to take a whole lot. And see, that's what happened with the pain that comes in our life. And I'm saying the pressure that comes when God put that pressure on us. It is producing something better in us. It is bringing out things that we didn't even know was there. It also enlarging your ability to be able to experience pressure and not fold under the pressure. Because the more you take, the more you can take, the more you can endure. See, we never know what we can go through until we go through it. But in the end, it'll be worth it because it's making you stronger. It's making you wiser because now you are understanding that you have the ability to go through things and not faint. And you also learning about who God is through the pressure. In 2 Corinthians, it talks about the Apostle Paul because Apostle Paul had extreme pressure applied to his life. This man went through so many things. And what it produced in him was strength to overcome every problem because he overcame every obstacle that he faced. And like I said, he faced extreme trials. So much pressure was on this man's life. And God told him even from the beginning that he would suffer many things. So pressure means that you're also suffering, but you're suffering for Christ. So if you're suffering for Christ, then it's going to produce good results. And so I want to read about Paul in chapter 7 because Paul was going through a thorn being placed in his life, and God put it there. God put it there so he could stay humble because God had revealed to him so many mysteries about himself that he didn't want Paul to get lifted up in pride. So God sent a thorn to his flesh. And so I want to read in 2 Corinthians 12, chapter, the 7th through the 10th verse. And I read out of the King James Version for anyone that's new to this channel. And it says, "And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. More gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasures in my infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong." So when this thorn was placed in Paul's flesh, he tried to pray it away because it had to been very painful for him to ask God to remove it. And he asked God 3 times. And it's exactly what happens to us when we are going through things that is putting pressure on our life. A lot of times you can't pray it away. You won't be able to fast it away. You won't be able to run away because God has ordained that pressure be applied in your life. And see, that pressure also made Paul probably lean on God even more because see, a lot of times we rely on our flesh, but when pressure is applied, when God applies a little pressure, it will make you let go of that control and trust in God because he found out that God was able to strengthen him through whatever pressure that was applied to his life because it never It never explains what that thorn was in his flesh. Well, we know that thorn was very uncomfortable to him. So God has already given us the ability to overcome every circumstance that comes in our life. Because a lot of times we don't want to face what's coming in our life because the pressure can be very painful. The pressure can be very painful, like I said, but God says that we can handle it. He said that we can handle it because he is in it. And that's for somebody that's out there that's ready to let go, because whatever they are going through, the pressure that they are up under them, it feels like it's about to break them. But it's not going to break you because the Lord is helping you. In Philippians 4:13, it says, I can do all things through Jesus Christ that strengthens me. So God is helping you. God is going to help you to stand up under that pressure. In 1 Corinthians, I want to read that. 2 Corinthians 10:13. 2 Corinthians 10 and 13 says, now it's 1 Corinthians 10:13. It's 1 Corinthians 10:13. It says, there have no temptation taken you, but such is coming to man. But the Lord is faithful. The Lord is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation make a way of escape so you shall be able to bear it. So God will help you to bear it, whatever it is. God is there. God is there. So the pressure is not going to take you out, even though sometimes it will feel like it's too much. Because I know personally, sometimes the pressure seems like it is too much for you to bear. But then I remember that God is helping me to bear it. Sometimes you get tired. You get tired of dealing with the same pressure. Seem like it just will not leave. It's consistently there. But God knows how to renew your strength. So you have to hold on to God. You have to hold on to God even more, because God will renew your strength. As long as you keep standing, God will renew your strength. Because I know what it is to experience pressure. And the way that I've been able to overcome is to stay in his word, to stay connected to God, to keep praying, keep believing. You have to stay with God. You have to stay with God because we all want to be blessed. We want to be used by God. But see, you have to go through whatever the path that God takes you, because God has a path for he has a path for each and every one of us. So the pressure has an expectation. That pressure is bringing out something in you that can come out no other way. And so I want to read in Isaiah, the 40th chapter, the 31st verse. And it says, but they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as an eagle. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not fail. And so this is just a message just to encourage you to continue to stand under that pressure, because that pressure is going to bring out something in you that is so beautiful. So you be encouraged. Amen. Bye-bye for now. Have a blessed and prosperous day.